There have been a few questions that have come through. I believe the presenters have been trying to answer them by typing furiously when they've had a moment, but I can raise some now. Got a few moments to do some live questions. If you'd like to turn your cameras on, that'd be great. Nia and Kate are happy to answer some. Okay. A question here from Sally asking, what do sand eels get farmed for? So I don't know if
so they can sometimes be put into fish feed and things like that. I know that's one of the reasons for it. So yeah, they get put into, I think it's fish food and possibly pet food. Another kind of source for other kind of fish pellets for places like salmon farms and places like that. They'll also hoover up krill from the South Atlantic. So it's yeah, I think that's the main purpose of sand eel fisheries. But I know that the sand eel fisheries up in the north and northeast have now closed, I think, mainly.
So Paul's asked a question here. If it's best to answer, or some other people can jump in. So, will the new control of aquacultural pollution regulations have a significant effect on estuarine birds? That's the
I should hope so.
Pardon?
I should hope so, really.
Yeah.
I really do, because particularly in Pembrokeshire, we're a heavy dairy industry, and that has a huge nutrient input into the marine environment. I'd have to read up on the exact controls which are going to come in those regulations, but
I guess would it be a continuing monitoring to actually see what the effect is? They have monitoring schemes, so I would assume to keep an eye on those things. A question from Louise sort of saying, how can we deal with dog walkers seriously? I wonder, is that an effect that has on seals as well as birds, or is there any top tips that are in any of your minds, the forefront of your minds at the moment? Or
I think like posters are great, but I think actually talking to people is the best way. But that takes a lot of time and input and effort to be there at the right time. Personally, but
okay. I think seals, because vast majority of the seals are born on quite remote locations. So even when they're on the mainland sites, they're usually at sites where it's inaccessible from humans. It's only an issue really when you've got a small number that end up getting born on more accessible type locations. And so, like the example I gave, the key thing is to put up signage in a very prominent location and try and lead by example where possible. And I mean, Martin's Haven, which the picture I showed, has whole loads of people coming down there, and that's why we put up signs, actually in the lane. And I had that one there propped up against the wall, but usually I have 2 or 3 large tractor tires, which on the beach, and I'll line them across the top of the beach there and actually pile my sign up, surrounded by an box so it can't blow over. So you've just kind of got to have something in your face to try and stop people as much as possible, and that's the only way. And it is only for a week or 2 whilst the pups, feeding up and heading off to shore. I know National Trust will actually close locations and close sites if there's pups on their sites, but we are talking of a very small number of locations because fortunately the cows do tend to choose more remote places.
Thank you, Kate. If Nia has anything to add, or
yeah, I mean, we're seeing a few issues up here, just because what we're finding is that seals are starting to sort of spread out a little bit. So we're finding seals popping up in places we wouldn't have expected them before. So we've got, you know, issues then with disturbance, not just dogs, but, you know, people walking, also people going up to them, you know, thinking it's cute or that there's something wrong with them. So we always say, you know, we try and get these messages out there to keep, you know, keep an eye out from afar and see what's happening. It might not be that the pup has been left alone. But we do have a couple of problem sites up here, and, you know, like Kate says, is putting these signs up in prominent places. One thing that we're finding is changing the signs seasonally so that it's something new. You know, unfortunately people do get sort of blind to signs staying the same. And we have seen, you know, we've got video evidence of a really bad disturbance event with the dog heading out and flushing all of the seals into the water, and quite often it's the dog that's gone off and run off, and being able to just to talk to people helps, and just explaining why we're asking people to avoid the beach or that area at certain times. And just saying that simply just putting the dog on the lead at these times makes a difference, because, you know, you might have the best behaved dog, but, you know, might decide to go AWOL one day and it can cause real problems. And quite often these, you know, dog owners can be quite upset if you know, the dog does something. So
yeah, so most dog owners are, say, the responsible dog owners, and it's, yeah, sort of awareness raising, education on that side of things that I would have thought.
You know, seals are actually quite aggressive themselves. So, you know, if a cow is actually quite a protective cow and she's on the beach and a dog does come down, usually the seal wins. So seals will, you know, they don't attack, but they generally, you know, they'll show their teeth and they'll snarl and, you know, see off anything, and usually the dog tends to head off running. So it does vary massively. You know, obviously, of, you know, each individual's, you know, will be working differently, but yeah, it's just a matter of, you know, being aware that there's pups on the beach, and therefore, you know, as managers, you know, whoever we may be around the coast, is putting up temporary signage in a prominent location.
Thank you all for your time there. I think we're getting near to the end of the evening. I just wanted to share that. Just asking, we're always open to feedback from our events, so it would be great if you can, as attendees, take a moment to go to SurveyMonkey and fill out our feedback form. There's a QR code there that you should be able to just use your smartphones to try to take an image, and it should take you straight there. Or there is the link there as well at the bottom. Great. So time of the evening, let's say thank you. Diolch fawr. As always, there's more information, say, about all the marine codes around the coast of Wales, and other information at the Wild Seas Wales website, where the link is there, and also a QR code to that site. I was just going to say, we have got a few minutes, and I have been noticing the chat, there's been mention of a Guillemot song. So I didn't know if that was something that would lead us out from the evening. I'm not aware of the Guillemot song, but Kate is smiling, so, and Chris is smiling.
It's a bit of a poem. I've forgotten the name of it, but there's one of the lines is I'm a Guillemot, I eat fish a lot, and it carries on like that for ages, and there's a ukulele involved, but I can't repeat it right now.
That one that we have to have a link to and maybe send out to everyone to fully appreciate them. You know, so we have got a couple of moments. I don't know if go sort of through the three of you, if you had any sort of closing thoughts that you'd like to send out there. Now we have a great audience in attendance. If there's one passing thought, like leaving thought you'd like to leave us with this evening? I will start with say Mia, as she's a
yes, I guess, I mean, we're just seeing tonight, you know, there's been really inspiring wildlife all around Wales, and it's really fantastic. I love it. And, you know, it's like, get out there and, you know, and enjoy it. And I think we've seen in the last year or so how important nature is for people. And it's just sort of keep that going, really, and, you know, keep yourself safe and wildlife safe and enjoy what we have.
Thank you, Nia. Kate?
Yeah, I'd like to add to that in that, you know, it's what's been one of the upsides of, you know, this last year is that more people are out, you know, looking at their own home patch and taking ownership of their own local coastal areas. And I must admit, I had a bit of a joy whilst I was doing my seal surveys end of last year at you know, the higher numbers of younger people I was seeing out on the coast. So I'm talking of, you know, teenagers and people in their 20s. So usually, you know, when I'm out doing the surveys, it tends to be an older sort of, you know, older people who like hiking on the coast path thing. But you know, it's a joy that younger people are now taking, you know, more joy in it and looking at the wildlife. And I just say, you know, adhere to the marine codes, be aware of the wildlife, and just you know, do it respectfully.
Thank you, Kate. And Chris, if you've genned up on the Guillemot song yet in that one moment.
No. I've never performed it myself before. No, I think my only final kind of parting words is that you know, there are quite a lot of developments in the kind of marine renewables sector and stuff at the minute, and it's, if you're interested in the marine environment, it's quite an interesting thing to follow, and you know, there are planning engagement things going on at the minute, so you know, read up about it and get involved, really, because, you know, potentially offshore wind farms have got huge benefits for our energy infrastructure, but you know, they might have other impacts that we might not know about. So yeah, get involved.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you this evening, and thank you to attendees as well. And so just a last big diolch yn fawr, and have a happy rest of your evening. Thank you.